somebody is hurt in a situation in a relationship, and then there's a statement like your partner isn't hurting you, it's you. How? This is a concept that people find contradictory. Okay, I have two people in the studio with me here, Dr. Super Roberts and Ajiri. And in the past, when Ajiri and I have talked about topics like this and anything close to this has been said, she's been startled by what do you how are you how can you possibly be blaming the person who is the victim here? And so let's just get into it and see how this works, what we mean when we say this. How
No,
does that statement come across?
maybe we shouldn't start with me because I'm very. Let's hear from Topper face or from
Because
you
you're what?
Uh, I'm on the fence.
You're on the fence? No, that's why we want to start with you, because that's actually why I want to start with you.
It takes two to make a relationship work. Yes. But I've come to see over time, over the years, that more other than not is the party who is the victim or who is the hurt party who seems to want it to work more. The other party always seems, either male or female, always seems to have, in quotes, emotionally checked out of the relationship and they're just going through the motions, marking time. So you find the victim, the person getting the backlash, the person that is hurt, over trying to overcompensate in the relationship, trying to so hard to make it work. Yes, I can see the point of view that probably he or she, you know how you say you're pointing three fingers and two others are pointing at you? I can see how he or she may not see in their perception of the issues their side of things. But other than not, most times it's the other party who causes offense and continues to cause offense in spite of how the party that is hurt hammers and goes on and on about, I don't like this thing you're doing, I don't like what you have done. But because the other party has mentally, emotionally checked out of the relationship, there's just no empathy, there's just no feelings, there's just no consideration. Yeah, so yeah, that's where I come from.
So you're saying that in essence,
I'm saying, in as much as it takes two to tango, more often than not, the party who is causing the offense is to blame. Is to blame maybe
okay,
99.1%,
okay,
and
because they
then
are
the other party is 0.09.
okay, so the person who is causing pain is to blame. Okay, because
because
they're the one
he or
creating.
because he or she created the situation they're in.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense too. Yeah, yeah. So, what would
And
you say?
he or she most times, because of how far gone they are in whatever rubbish they're doing, they're not willing to put in the effort and the time to get back to what they were with once were with their spouses.
Okay, so when you hear a statement like your partner is not hurting you, it's you, you will not agree with that. You will say that it's the person who is.
Um, most times the party that is hurt, in retrospect, in retrospect, may look back and feel, I did this, and led to the other party doing this. Maybe, just maybe.
Right. So thanks to it's nice to see your perspective, but I just kind of want us to go back a little bit. We're talking about relationships between adults, and we want to believe that these are mature people over the age of 18 that have decided that they want to get into a romantic relationship. They might be partners, they might be married. Let me tell you where I think some of the faults come from. And it starts right from the time you're dating this person. I think one of the faults that the victim, quote and unquote, makes, and they blame the oppressor for, is actually their failure to read some signs. When you find, I had an experience when I was dating someone, and I remember the very first time I I was opportune to see that person physically, he picked a fight with me. And there's nothing normal about that. I mean, this is someone you've been talking to, video calling, talking over the phone, everything. And the first time you see the person face to face, they pick a fight. That for sure was a red flag. Even if the person, it was obvious that this person probably has an anger problem or a temper tantrum or was immature. But guess what we do when we now come down the line and we start playing the victim card? We fail to read the signs, or we fail to acknowledge the signs, or we make excuses when we see this sort of behaviors. Okay, are we back on? Okay, so
Yes, we are.
maybe things are just not going good. But this is somebody that is saying, I'm interested in you. And the first time he's seeing you, he's picking a fight. That should tell any woman that this thing is off to, we call it in medicine, dead on arrival. It is. And of course, after that, it was just a cascade and a cascade of more and more and more. In fact, there was a time I was accused of saying stuff in my sleep. And the person picked up a fight because of what I said in my sleep when I was dreaming. Or you can imagine how terrible that is. But guess what? The so-called victims fail to read those signs. We fail to see that there is a problem here. You are dating someone that is already pulling you down even before you get into his house, that will not respect you, and you keep accepting it. That is where you're wrong. When you fail to read those signs, and then when you start to interpret the signs or misinterpret the signs. For example, someone picks up a fight with you and you're like, he really didn't mean to hurt me. That's his way of showing love. That's just crazy. You can't see something that is red. I have red nail polish and say, it's blue or it's gray because it matches the top. It's not. So and it tends to happen to women when we feel that time is not on our side. When we feel that, this is for once, somebody's actually interested in me. I have to grab everything. At least he came to see me, even if he treats me badly when he arrives. The fact that we fail to interpret those signs is our fault. The fact that we misread those signs is our fault. Let me tell you the third problem we have. We fail to respond appropriately to those things when we're faced with them.
Okay.
If, for example, in my own experience, the first time this guy met me, I had said, look here, I'm meeting you for the first time and you're picking up a fight. I hope this will be the last time you'd ever try that with me, because next time, in fact, there'll be no next time. I'm not going to put up with it. So what you're doing is setting your boundaries clear from the beginning. And guess what? That guy has a check. So next time he's going to get mad, he's going to say, you know what? I stand a chance of losing this woman. Therefore, I'm going to try and work on myself and improve myself and try and make things work if you are really interested in that person. Because what you find then is that these are people that are just trying out different things and finding out which one would work for them or which one would
Well,
not.
that makes sense.
It does, because at the end of the day, you now become his victim. So you don't respond appropriately the first time. That's your fault. And then some of us women stupidly, sorry to use that word, carry on. And one day we say, okay, they love us. They're women. I had a friend. She was engaged to this guy. He came from
Okay, can you mute
abroad.
your mic? I'm not sure where that sound is coming from. Okay.
They had taken Ashwebi. Everything was all set. And I think 2 days to the engagement, they got into an argument. The guy beat her up. Guess what she did? She canceled the wedding. The mother was like, oh
Mhm.
my God, all the family, we've taken Ashwebi, we bought cow, the canopies are up, the alasses are here. The woman said, no, I'm not going to marry this person. And they called it off. So that was a woman. If she had gone into that relationship and the guy said, "I'm sorry now, I was just having a bad day. I really didn't mean to hit you." But she was like, no. But some women will still go ahead and say, at
Yes.
least he has said sorry now. Shebi is only beating, he beat you now. And of
Yeah.
course, we know what happens after that. I'll stop here. So I will
Actually,
summarize. We fail to read the signs. We fail to interpret the signs we're reading, and we fail to respond appropriately. Those are some of the things that we get wrong as
okay.
women.
I like what you said. That's, look here, I don't like this, and I hope this is the last time. I'll take it a step further. I'll do one better. Say to him, I okay, I met you at the airport or wherever it is, and this is, so I'll say, I don't like this attitude. And you can go back and then we can see some other time. And I will turn around and leave. Because we've been talking before and I have been seeing you on video and we've developed this rapport, I already am interested in you. I will tell you, I like you, but this that you've just done doesn't work. And I will turn around and leave. And you know why? I have to take the chance of losing him completely, because if I don't, here is where we another step where we get it wrong. Because we're all different and we come from different households and different experiences in life, sometimes this person feels that what they're doing is normal. They don't even realize. Honestly, because you are a decent person, because we are decent, we understand civilized and decent behavior. But we assume and we project onto the next person that common sense. And I see now that so many people do not even have what you think is common sense. And this is a fact. I hate to sound like that. For many years, I will talk to people about relationships. But what I would not do is discuss relationship problems, which I'm doing now. And the reason I wouldn't is because I always felt, this thing, you know what it is, you know what it means. And the most I will do is, no, do this, no, don't do that. But to think about discussing it seems almost so ordinary to me that I expect that everybody should know this. So you see, some of these people are coming from places where they've been doing this, and to them, this is a normal way of life. So that when they come to me and they do it, and I ignore it because I feel like maybe he's having a bad, so I don't say anything because maybe he had a bad day, he had a bad experience. I ignore it. He doesn't sometimes recognize that this is nonsense that he's doing. So he just feels that it is normal. So he's going to do it again next time. And then people will say to me, oh, you are just saying that because maybe you don't have the need for a man, or maybe you feel like you can have your pick of men. But the bottom line is, if I take this one because I feel that I'm not going to have another, I am still going to, in another 2 months, 6 months, 2 years, 6 years, I am still going to go through pain and I am still going to walk away from this pain. So why don't I establish from the beginning that this is not okay? And I go away and he can see that he's either going to shape up and, or it's done. I don't want to give him any chance. And this is what I wish that we would learn when we're younger. And another thing that's okay, so recognize that they don't always know. We think that maybe he's testing us. We think that maybe he's angry at that moment. But what we don't know is that maybe this is his normal, this is his default way of being.